What is going on, Reid Nation? How are you guys doing? Welcome back to the channel. So, a lot of you guys loved the reaction I did with the Chris Jericho versus Kenny Omega, and how I reacted to I would say something else. Dean Ambrose coming out, and basically I'm going to be talking about Dean Ambrose and how I feel about him going to AEW and what's going to be for him, and just really how I really feel about him. We're just going to discuss it. So if you guys haven't, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Let's get to 20,000 subscribers. You guys are amazing. You guys are phenomenal. So really quick, really, like, I believe maybe early this year when I was told about how he was going to be leaving the WWE soon, I knew immediately that he was going to go to AEW. Now, from listening to Chris Jericho's podcast and, looking in depth on how, Dean Ambrose felt, I can say that his technical plan wasn't really to go to AEW. He was just going to just stop wrestling. But he said, if there wasn't any other promotionals or any other wrestling companies, he would have just either made his own one or just stopped wrestling in general, which I totally agree with and understand. But the minute when I figured out that he was going to be leaving WWE soon, I knew he was either going to AEW or he was going to go to a low wrestling promotion and just work there, or work in, reality wrestling with Booker T's at. I knew it wasn't really a work because WWE doesn't do this type of thing where they actually talk about somebody's leaving soon and then all of a sudden, oh no, they just re-signed or something like that. So WWE wouldn't do anything petty that way. But the way he was sent out from WWE was a little ridiculous, and then they had to do the whole Shield reunion for the DVD or whatever, which was dumb. The Shield should have been done a long time ago, but I do understand they want to make that, Shield factory feel or whatever. But the minute I saw he was getting released, and then when he pulled out that little clip of him, running in the jail cell or escaping the jail cell, and it had the little dice, I was like, he's going to AEW. Like, you guys that think that, oh, they're just going to bring him back to WWE as Jon Moxley. WWE is not going to do that. They don't even own the name Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley was his own interpretation of his character. He was Jon Moxley, I believe, a little bit in FCW. Then they made him change it to Dean Ambrose. So WWE in general did not have any control over the name Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley is physically his name, but they own the name Dean Ambrose. So when you go back and watch all the network stuff, or you see the Illuminati, Dean Ambrose is going to be the name, not Jon Moxley. And a lot of people were like, oh, like I said, they were like thinking, oh, he's going to come to WWE as Jon Moxley, going to change his gimmick. And that wouldn't have been the case. I was ready for him to leave. I'm actually ready for half of these people to leave, but WWE has a tendency to up these dudes' contracts or freeze these people's contracts. The Revival was ready to go, and then they were offered the tag team championships, and I guess they're staying or whatever nonsense is that. But honestly, literally, WWE needs to step their game up with this product. WWE is a very awful state right now, and I'm very ashamed to be a WWE fan. I really am. If you say, are you an AEW fan? I'd be like, hell yes. But WWE right now, oh my gosh, it is awful. It is literally awful. So when I saw the videotape and the releasing, I knew he was coming to AEW. And then when we had the Double or Nothing, which I watched, and like I said, I did a reaction on, I was thinking, what if Dean Ambrose comes out? What if Dean Ambrose comes out? I was thinking in my head, either he comes out during the Chris Jericho Kenny match, or he comes out, maybe at another time, or maybe in the beginning or something like that. Or I was thinking he was going to come out maybe through a Cody and Dustin match, which I'm glad he didn't come out in that one, because that match was basically fine with nothing else happening. The Brandy Rose stuff was cool, her interfering and then her getting kicked out, but I'm glad he interfered. Well, technically he didn't interfere in the last match. The match was over, which I'm glad they did that instead of having him interfere in the match. But when he came out in the crowd, I was like, oh my gosh, this is literally legit cool. My mic, let me see my mic's up. I was like, that's legit. Like, that's really like legit cool. Like, he literally came out and he was just like, the crowd was livid. And Chris Jericho played off like he didn't know what was going on until he turned around and heard some in the ring, and then Dean came out. I love the little camo pants that this dude is wearing, and I just love the vibe of Dean, and I'm just so happy for him to like leave the WWE because they were treating him unfairly and he just wasn't getting any love. And you could tell that they weren't trying to put anything on him besides the Intercontinental United States Championship. That's pretty much it. They probably would have moved him back to forth to SmackDown and Raw. They were trying to promise him this and that, but at the end of the day, his run was done. It was pretty much done. And when he came out in AEW and attacked Jericho and DDT Kenny through with the poker chips. And oh my gosh, it was just crazy. WWE would have been the type of people that the minute they knew Kenny Omega's nose was broken, they would have stopped any type of interference or any craziness like that. But AEW's taking some risk. You know, Kenny's nose did really break, and the fact that Dean Ambrose still did every move that he could to even make that thing worse was phenomenal. Not phenomenal for Kenny's broken nose, but just phenomenal that Dean even came to AEW. He's going to have a good run, and he's going to have championships, and I hope that he has a clean theme song and just a clean entrance. I don't know if his entrance, oh my gosh. I don't know if his entrance is going to be I don't know if his entrance is going to be through the crowd or he's going to come, in the entrance. But whatever they do, I just hope it's a great. I'm just excited. I'm literally excited for Dean. I'm excited for anybody else that comes that I knew from either TNA or WWE to come to AEW. We still got opportunities. For example, Sasha Banks, she can possibly come to AEW when her contract's up. I don't see her come back to WWE because they're not gonna work her right. She knows it. We know it. WWE's trash at the moment. It's plain and simple. And watching throughout the Dean Ambrose podcast with Talk Is Jericho, which I watch every week, and it's phenomenal. Dean always mentioned that like the creative team was ass. The talk he had with Mr. McMahon's were terrible. Like Mr. McMahon just was, just awful. Like towards his gimmick, and I do not blame Dean for leaving, not one bit. So. This is pretty much a discussion I actually wanted to talk because you guys wanted to know how I felt about Dean Ambrose going to AEW. I think it's a great start, and for him to even have some type of feud with Kenny Omega is going to be like just lit. It's going to be just crazy awesome. And I heard that he's going to be having some wrestling matches in New Japan Wrestling. I don't know how that's going to work because I think I heard some rumor that AEW and New Japan has some like frustrations going on with each other, so I don't technically know if that's going to work well. But you guys let me know in the comments down below, how do you feel about him doing New Japan and then maybe having a feud with Kenny Omega? I honestly want to know your guys' opinion because you guys are awesome and amazing, and I am going to end this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's get to 20,000 subscribers. You guys are amazing, and I'll see you guys next video. Post me nation out. Deuces. One love, peace. Catch you guys later. Stay subscribed. Stay blessed. I'm out. See you.